Welcome back to Max Football Talk. Subscribe if you're new because I'm going to be talking about England and the World Cup every single day this summer. And wow, what a first game for England that was. Fantastic performance in the end. There was some downs, don't get me wrong, which we'll talk about, but there were definitely some ups as well. One absolute roller coaster that game was, really. At half time, I was quite angry. I was happy, but then I was angry and I was confused at what to think. But then by the time it got to 90 minutes, I was very happy with that performance. In terms of us attacking wise, it's probably the best we've seen ourselves for a very long time. For decades. It might be the best I've seen England in a World Cup attacking wise my whole life. But let's get into it. Straight away, within I think the first 10 minutes, England win a penalty. We had a good start, a decent start to the game. Madueke got fouled by Luka Modric. A lazy tackle by him without knowing his surroundings. Madueke took it from him. Fair play to Noni. Got the penalty, and yes, Kane missed the first one, but got very lucky. I can't believe Croatia, they'd be kicking themselves this morning, was silly enough to have a goalkeeper off his line, but also Vardiol running into the box like that as well. It's basic schoolboy errors, that was. And it allowed Kane to have a second chance, and Kane took that second chance. Of course he does. But then straight after that, for the next 30 minutes or so, 25 minutes or so, England seemed to give up possession too easily, but also allowed Croatia to control the midfield. And if you watched my video yesterday, I said if England want to win this game, or at least look good in this game, then we've got to control the midfield, or at least nullify their control. And we were struggling at that point. And you could tell Thomas Tuchel was angry at that performance for those 25 minutes. Sooner or later, that goal was going to come. You could feel it mounting up, that pressure from the Croatian side. And you could probably blame Jordan Pickford quite heavily on this one, if I'm honest. It's one of those saves where if he makes the save, everybody would be saying, fantastic save. But because he's got such a big hand on it, at that point, you have to make that save because you've got so much of a ball from your hand and he still let it go in. He needs to be making it. He did well to get into that position. It was firing at him really quickly, but he needs to be making that save. Once he's got that much of the ball on his hand, he has to be making it. It only took 5 minutes later, and then a fantastically well-worked set piece. I was a bit annoyed, if anything, looking at these outswung corners being taken by Declan Rice. I'm not a big fan of them. But then, as soon as that goal came in, it shut me right up because it was so well worked. If you haven't watched it properly, please watch it again because Kane sits at the back so he could have that space. But the players around him, all, they're acting like they want to try win the ball, but their real job is to block the other defenders from getting to Kane and winning that header before him. And then Declan Rice, he put on a plate for him, really, to get good contact on the ball. But let's not take away the finish from Harry Kane because what a header that was. And when we need him most, yet again, he's delivering. I think this is the best I've seen Kane on and off the ball in an England shirt ever in my lifetime. Well, since his debut, anyway. He has been fantastic. And this is where we need him at right now, this kind of level, because he's playing like a top 5 player in the world. And when you've got one of those players with the squad depth that we've got, there's always a chance England can win a game, especially under an elite manager like Thomas Tuchel. But then soon after, yet again, we get that lead, and it all felt a bit Southgate-y. As soon as we get a lead, we sort of sit back a little bit. Get a bit scared of conceding a goal, and naturally, because we're a bit scared, we give up control, and then all of a sudden, they score again. Lazy defending, if I'm honest. A bit worried about John Stones. I don't think that goal was on him, but just in general for that match. We can talk about it in another video because I think Guehi really showed how strong he is without him actually being on the pitch. 2-2 at half-time. Probably a good time to concede that second goal, but you can tell it fired up. That second goal would have fired up Thomas Tuchel. And I was watching for half-time interview with Anthony Barry, and he was fuming, and I quite liked it. It meant that Thomas Tuchel would be fuming, and he would be fuming at the players, and he would have had a right kick up the arse against those players, and he was fantastic. Because as soon as we got onto the pitch in that second half, we were a totally new team. We were brilliant. We didn't let them control the game at all. Anderson was all over the pitch. Did not let any player control the match. They were suffocating them. And that's what we needed. We needed that. And it was brilliant. Absolutely marvellous. Bellingham shut up a lot of people soon after. I think it was 55th minute, driving up. I think it was an Anderson assist as well. But again, those channels are such a strength. Using those wingers, using those sprinters really on either side and letting Kane sit in deep, bringing and dragging those centre backs away and just letting our outside players drive up the pitch. And this time it was Bellingham and we scored from it. And that is going to be a common theme this World Cup, using our channels, using our pace to get in behind the centre backs or get in behind the full backs, get in behind the opposition. A fantastic goal in the end, a goal which we needed as well, because the longer that goal didn't come, the longer we would have struggled. And yeah, I couldn't have been any happier. I think taken away from that goal, Jude Bellingham was yet again really good in an England shirt. My point is with Bellingham, every time I watch him, I just see a world-class number 8, and I want to see him as a number 8. I can understand why it's difficult with so many other midfielders like Declan Rice and Anderson there, but I just think he should be an 8. He suits it. The amount of challenges, the off the ball work, that last ditch tackle in the first half as well to save a goal. He's so good off the ball. I don't want to take away from that as well. But yeah, we continued to control the game. I mean, we could have easily been 4-5-2 up before that Rashford goal, but Rashford coming on to replace Anthony Gordon, who was one of the few players who had a really poor game. I think Rashford, even though it's not the same game he was joining, England were well in control, and it's difficult to compare the two because it was two different types of games which they were both in. But I think Rashford, he has to be starting in that next game because Anthony Gordon, as good as he is running down those channels, Rashford can also do that, but have a bit more technical ability behind him, a bit more finishing behind him, a bit better passing behind him as well. I think we need to see Rashford start on the left-hand side now. But yeah, for me, the man of the match, it has to be Jude Bellingham. Absolutely marvellous performance. After that, shortly after that as well, Anderson. Two players where they really stood up for us. So that was it. 4-2. A chaotic, a thrilling, and exactly what we needed as England fans to really get into that World Cup fever. I can't wait for the next game now against Ghana. We should now be top of the group for the rest of the group stages and be playing. I can't remember who we play next if it works out well, but we should be top of the group, getting somewhat of an easy fixture and having a good run in to the quarterfinal, or at least to technically it might be Mexico in the round of 16. But what do you make of that performance? Let me know in the comment section. If you did enjoy this video, drop a subscribe because I'm going to be doing daily World Cup content every single day this summer.